Join me, Nathan Oakley, and Tim Ozman of Infinite Plane Society on Flat Earth, United Kingdom. Tonight, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Be here or be sphere. I've also attached a clip for you to watch now.
Alright, reacting to Flat Earth tweets number 4. Let's see what we have today. This is from Flat Earth, Truth Flat. Now what's interesting about this picture is that, okay, obviously it's not real. You know, there's not a big crowd of people carrying this banner. However, the truth is, if this many people were marching behind such a banner, everyone else would believe in it immediately. Because all the non-thinkers and the flat earth deniers out there, they're about consensus over truth. A lot of people think consensus trumps or equals truth. Like all the global warming believers, they only believe it because 97% of scientists believe it. So if 97% of the population believed the world is flat, it would be considered a fact. It would be indisputable. It's a numbers thing. So don't worry about trying to convince the people who aren't amenable to reason. Instead, focus on the scientific exploration of the truth. Find the facts, go where the facts lead you, and the laggards will follow. You can't let the reality deniers define reality for us. If the earth is flat, then what's on the other side? See, that to me is just pure ignorance. Pure ignorance. No flat earther thinks there is another side because we reject heliocentrism and space is a big fat lie. Hashtag flat earth. It's hard for people to understand that. They imagine a coin floating in space. It's like, no one, not one single flat earther has that in their head. Let's move on. You are dead right. When they get triggered, oh yeah, this is something I've been talking about before. They really get triggered when you spell a word wrong. When you're arguing with globetards and you're tweeting them, you just misspell a word, and it does throw them off. And the reason I do it is because they already think you're an idiot. They think you're a Neanderthal and a caveman. They think you're not worth talking to because you're so stupid and they need to put you in your place. So if you misspell a word, it sends a subtle message. It's kind of an FU. It's a middle finger saying, yeah, I'm really that dumb. It's sarcasm. And there's nothing wrong with being a little sarcastic to these people because it shows that Bill Nye says, I'm teaming up with the March for Science as an honorary co-chair. Join us in D.C. Earth Day, April 22nd. And by the way, Earth Day 22nd, I am claiming that. Let me go ahead and send him a tweet. Earth is flat. There is no global warming. Flat earthers do exist, loser. You are one of them. Hashtag flat earth denier. Now, with regards to Earth Day, I'm claiming it for Flat Earth Day 2017. Hashtag Flat Earth Day 2017. So, in fact, I'm going to have some Flat Earth Day shirts made up today so that we can have them out by Earth Day. Because, yes, we're taking over. Because they use Earth Day to promote the lie of global warming. And if you didn't know, Earth Day was created by a communist who murdered his girlfriend and stuck her in the trunk of his car. And Earth Day is really nothing more than globe reinforcement. It has nothing to do with saving the planet. And in case you think that I'm making that up, we're talking about this individual who, here we go, Earth Day co-founder killed and composted his girlfriend. Well, that's green. He preached against Vietnam and violence, but he had a dark side. And you can read about this. Just another sicko, another misanthrope, another environmental activist who think that man ought to die. He called himself Unicorn. That was his nickname. He called himself a unicorn. He was a brony. Before bronies were cool. Let's see who this one is. Charlie Kirk says, liberals are attacking Pence because he doesn't respect women, yet the left won't call out radical Islam for how terrible they treat women. Well, there's an easy explanation for that one. That's because the left is not against patriarchy. They're against white heterosexual males in America. They're not against patriarchy in principle. They would be fine being conquered by Islam if it means the destruction of our capitalist system. And it's because they're all stooges. But what does this have to do with Flat Earth? Hashtag Flat Earth Day 2017. Okay, oh, this is a good picture. Now this is a composite. It's an admitted composite, something that NASA will only do in the fine print. If this was a NASA picture, it would say this is real, and then down in fine print, a real composite. They're always denying it. Our whole world is based on lies. We've been deceived by a Luciferian cabal for centuries. This is flat realm. Poor guy. Brainwashed. I mean, he's 90% right. He's right about most stuff. But like most Christians, he falls into the Masonic, Jesuit, Hegelian dialectic. No, that's not it. Science is going to get us out of this. Religion got us into it. The globe is a religion. Religion is the enemy. Religion is mind control. Flat Earth awakening is an awakening from mind control. It's not a rediscovery of the Old Testament. Anyway, survey. Why the sun doesn't have a tail of fire such as comets? Good question. And I'm going to click something here that you'll never see a globetard do. I don't know. Okay, now I've been going through, and I've been seeing a lot of repeats, so I'm going to move on to Instagram in a second here. I wanted to look at this one, though, because flat earthers are said to be dumb or gullible, but look at this. This satellite, remote controlled from 365 million miles away. Globetards believe this, and when they see this, they'll say, oh, that's evidence. It's like, really? Well, then who took the picture of this thing? You know, where's the selfie stick? How did they get a picture of the satellite? Which reminds me, let me pull up a picture of the Apollo landing. I found this image yesterday I thought was interesting. See, this is great because this is Neil Armstrong taking his first step on the moon. This is man's very first step on the moon. And globetards see this and they're like, oh, that's evidence. That's proof. Well, then who took the picture? Isn't the cameraman the first man on the moon? Okay, now I've been finding lately that Instagram has a better collection of memes than Twitter. I mean, Twitter's nice because you can send messages to people like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and you can directly irritate people, but I'm finding that the better collection is actually here. So let's go through some of these. Perfect. Yeah, oblate spheroid. This guy is such a loser. The world before waking up, the world after waking up. Yeah, I think you all know how that feels. This could be us, but you still believe the Earth is a spinning ball. Yeah, the Matrix is great because it shows you a pretty good analogy of how mind control works, thought policing, and one of the big points about the Matrix is that the people in it are complicit in their own slavery. 7 stages of a flat earther. Now this is interesting to contrast it. See, if you're a glober, it's because you were taught from a young age to believe it. So you never had a chance to question it. You just assumed it. And so here are the stages. No way it's flat. Maybe it's flat. It might be flat. It couldn't be flat. Probably is flat. Pretty sure it's flat. And then this is where people get stuck. It's definitely flat. Nobody wants to commit. We probably shouldn't even be at 7. I think we're all at 6. 5 or 6. 7, that's one of these things where the word is problematic. We don't want to go down that road just yet. We know it's not a ball, and there is a difference. Because to remain consistent with the scientific methodology, Occam's razor and all that, we don't want to make any assumptions. Like, 7 stages of a Christian flat earther is, no way it's flat, it's definitely flat with a dome. You know, we can't have that. Oh, speaking of. Okay, here's a question for you domers. If the world is flat and we're under a dome, is then the kingdom of heaven above curved? What is the curvature of heaven? I mean, they assume a dome, and then they assume that their Bible, from when, you know, their Bible has the answers, but they're selective about what they read from the Bible. And then again, it begs the question, which Bible? Why yours? What makes yours superior? And so I think we should keep religion out of science. This is the actual blue marble from Apollo 17 before it was altered. This is what it originally looked like. Interesting. I know these days, whenever you see images of the Earth, there are more clouds, especially if it's from the ISS. They shouldn't even call it the blue marble. Developing story, this just in, Mickey Mouse spotted on Jupiter performing magical spells. Now this is from 2016. The one from 2014 has the exact same cloud formation, same patterns. Nothing's changed. They just added this little sprinkling of sparkly blue lights at the top. Total Disney. The religion of the 21st century, scientism. I think it'd be more accurate to say the religion of the 21st century is heliocentrism. The idol is the globe, which has replaced the cross. And the canon, the Gospels, is scientism. The narratives of scientism. Look, a large-scale model of the moon. I wonder what NASA would need that for. Yeah, they even had an area in Arizona made to look like the moon. So any of the footage you see of the lunar lander flying above the moon was probably shot by helicopter in Arizona. The railgun is one of the best evidences I know of flat Earth. The weapon system fires a projectile up to 100 miles at the speed of Mach 7. If the Earth were a globe, this weapon would have to fire through the Earth to reach a target so far. You know what's interesting about this is I found an article and I did a video on it. And the article was just saying, it was by Popular Science and some individuals from the Navy. They said, yeah, 100 miles, we're going for 200 miles. Nowhere did they talk about curvature. They said the round goes at a level trajectory and 100 miles. And I had a bunch of trolls come along and say, no, level trajectory with regards to ballistic means parabolic arc. And I'm thinking, wait, even if that were true, which is strange, I'm like, how come all these globetards become instant experts on ballistics? But I'm thinking, an arc for a 200-mile shot would put it into space. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, you're talking about a mile of curvature, more than a mile of drop-off. And then I've had others say, oh, well, the ballistic will actually follow the curve. Like it'll stay level in its trajectory, but it's actually arcing with the curve. And the problem with that is, yeah, there's, something like 8 inches of curve per mile, but from point A to point B, that's 1 mile, that's 8 inches, but it's exponential. So point B to point C, you're looking at 8 inches becoming 72 inches at mile 3. And it's just, there is no way you could properly calculate something like that. But yeah, they'll believe it. The Globers will say, no, it curves. The Globers will make excuses. They don't even care. They gaslight themselves. That's why I say they have like battered wife syndrome. Basically, they want to defend their abuser, even if it means denying reality itself. They're so married to their worldview. They're so afraid of having it shaken up. I mean, I've actually had these people say, level trajectory means parabolic arc. That's like saying flat equals round. 2 plus 2 equals 5. I mean, talk about mind control. Oh, this is perfect. New research shows that globe heads are in fact evolving into sheep. Exactly. Now here's a good one. Speed of the Earth's orbit, 66.6 thousand miles per hour. Curvature in 1 mile squared, 0.666 feet. Axis tilt, 66.6. Now why this is interesting has nothing to do with Satan, has nothing to do with the Antichrist. Those of you who are Christians who believe in the Antichrist and the end times, that Jesus is coming, I mean, this blows my mind. I get people say, yeah, Jesus is coming to destroy the world. I can't wait. It'll be great. It's like, no, just so you know, you can sleep better at night and you can stop hating 90% of the population who don't agree with you. There is no Antichrist. The Antichrist was invented by a Jesuit. Here, let me get you his name. Okay, it is Francisco Ribera, a Jesuit priest and a doctor of theology who was commissioned by the Vatican to write up prophecies about the Antichrist, to make it up. It's called futurism, about a sinister man who would arise at the end of time. And this was created in 1590. So a little over 400 years ago, the Antichrist myth was invented. So if you believe there's an Antichrist coming to get you, you've been deceived by Jesuits. Now here's one I thought might make a good experiment. It says, got stars? So what I'm thinking is this. If you were to fill in stars on this background and show it to a globetard and say, hey, shouldn't the sky be black in outer space from this close to the Earth? Shouldn't we not see any stars? They would say, no, of course you're going to see stars. Now, you show the same globetard this picture and say, where are the stars? And they'll say, oh, you're not supposed to see stars. There's this inconsistency because they're not rooted in reality or truth. They're rooted in dogma. That's why we call them globetards. And the word tard just means, just so you know, I'm not being politically incorrect, a person who acts stupidly. Well, that's the derogatory term, but I think of it as tardy, which means late. Because basically the globe was something that was invented 500 years ago, so they're 500 years behind. In the beginning, the flat earther is a scarce man, brave, hated and scorned, but when his cause succeeds, however, the timid join him, for then it costs nothing to be a flat earther. Now the original is patriot, but it's the same thing. And it's true. A lot of people wait until it's no longer social suicide to admit it, which is why tomorrow, April Fool's Day, you may as well post something about it, and I'll do a video on how I want that to go down, because I have some ideas. This is a good one. You have a hot spot, clearly visible here. So it's saying here, if the sun is 93 million miles away, then the distance to this horizon is 93 million miles away, so how big is the Earth? That's pretty good. Now this is a quote from Carl Sagan. Our ancestors worshipped the sun, and they were far from ignorant. If we must worship a power greater than ourselves, does it not make sense to revere the sun and stars? That's Carl Sagan. Well, the thing is, and this is the history of the globe. A brief summary. The Roman polytheists were creating a one world order religion, and to get the Jews in, who were monotheists, who would not bow to idols, they refashioned their Roman polytheistic system into monotheistic Christianity, which is just Roman polytheism disguised as monotheism with a Jewish paint job and a fake Jewish savior. Now that tricked people, got everyone into the system. Well, fast forward, post-Reformation, the church is losing control. So what do? They surreptitiously usurp the sciences and transfer their Roman polytheistic system, the Apollocentric or Helios-centric religion, into the scientific vernacular. They gave it a scientific veneer. So, heliocentrism is Christianity, or Roman polytheism. It'd be more accurate to say Roman polytheism, because that's what Christianity is. But yeah, it's the same blueprint, the same control, the same sun worship. Sun worship where the sun god, is the progeny of the king of the gods, the king of kings, lord of lords in the sky, Jehovah, Jupiter, the biggest planet. Here's a good one. Atlantis skyline from a distance of 74 miles. Curvature, over 74 miles, 3,650 feet. Now, the globetard's going to say that's a mirage. Or they're going to say all of these buildings are 5,000 feet tall. It's one of the two. Now, I am coming back to Twitter for a minute just to say a couple of things to some of my new Twitter friends. Elon Musk says, trying to bring upper stage back on Falcon Heavy demo flight for full reusability. Odds of success low, but maybe worth a shot. Dear Elon, space does not exist. You are a charlatan. We know that your rockets are nothing more than penises, dildos of Baal, your god. See what he makes of that. Are there any emojis I can use to emphasize it? Let me see if I can find a cucumber or some type of phallic object here. Okay. Oh, perfect. Tweet. Alright, and then here's a good one. Flat Earth City says, I've personally experienced God, the devil, and everything in between. And Pro Spherical says Satan doesn't exist, just like Jesus, Noah, or Abraham, all fictional characters to keep the gullible enslaved. See, I agree with that person. And my problem with a lot of these Christian flat earthers, these dogmatists, it's not their bigotry. I mean, I hate the Christian Nazis because they stalk me and they accuse me of being a Jew. But regular Christians, like this guy says he personally experienced the devil. Okay, so some guy with horns and a tail in all the fairy tales. I mean, it's not even biblical. You didn't meet the devil. And if you're going to tell people you did, it's like, I met Santa Claus, therefore. It's like, come on, bro. You're making all flat earthers look crazy. Not all flat earthers are Bible-thumping dogmatists. Bible-thumping dogmatists with faith in re-edited, plagiarized, unoriginal, quote-unquote, holy books. Hashtag flat earth. Probably going to make an enemy out of Flat Earth City, but at this point, I don't care. I'm just tired of, they're stealing they're basically making all flat earthers look like religious nutcases. And if you're a religious nutcase and you're offended, hey, not my problem. Stop being a nutcase. Or just go to church on Sunday, and if you have to go proselytize, go knock on doors and hand out literature, but why do you have to drag the whole flat earth thing into it? Because you have no more claim to the truth than Muslims. Why don't we all just become Muslims and say flat earth for Muhammad? It doesn't make sense. And to say it does, to say that your book is the truth, the only truth, is bigotry, ethnocentrism. And it's part of the divisiveness that the rulers use to divide and conquer us. So cut it out.